What's happening, YouTube? Welcome back to KangBrosTV. This is just a reaction actually to the amazing test match test series that we've just seen between India and Australia out in Australia. Not something that we've covered for a while, but something that we had to do a video on because it is one of the best series I've ever seen. Now, for many different reasons, I'm going to break this up into two parts. First part, I'm going to talk about India. Second part to follow will be to talk about Australia, because there's a lot to talk about. But I just felt that this was something that had to be discussed. I mean, the best series I've seen personally would be the 05 Ashes. I think India beating Australia the last time round was very impressive. The days gone by when Australia had that phenomenal side and India had Tendulkars and Harbhajan Singhs, and that was great. But this is one of the best things I've ever seen, and I don't think you can quite fathom how good and how big an achievement this is for such a B-Tech team that was out there. Now, to lose your captain after the first test, to get bowled out for 36 and get humiliated, that is humiliation. That's utter humiliation. Now, from that perspective, you look at it and think, right, that's it. You had people saying it's going to be a whitewash, it's going to be 4-0. India will be lucky to win a session, let alone a test match and things like that. And to be honest, you probably have to agree with that. But I think that's where you have to put some respect on Pujara. You have to understand how unbelievable he's been throughout the whole series. The other person that I think that is going under the radar, I'm not saying going under the radar, but the captaincy, Rahane. I mean, it's just unbelievable. How can you go to pick up a team that's been brought up for 36, you've lost your best player, you've got injuries to your best bowlers throughout the whole series, but at that point, it was like, right, okay, I have to pick this team up and show that there is life after Virat, because Virat Kohli is the best player arguably in the world. I mean, for me, Kane Williamson is, but Virat Kohli is a legend already, and he's gone home. You've got Rohit Sharma not coming out there. Ishant Sharma's not playing, and he's been like a very important person for that group of players on those type of decks. So I think him to get 100 in the next test match and to win it as convincingly as they did was brilliant. And then I thought, obviously, the SCG. Now, Vihari had to go home, but that innings in itself, to produce an inning of that quality when you're injured, when you're hamstrung, was just sensational. It really, really was. And he's been struggling. Now, he gets a lot of unfair criticism because if you look at the way he played spin, it was either forward or right back. I'm going to use my feet, I'm going to sweep. And he got out on a top edge. Yes, execution was poor at times and the timing of his shots was probably questionable at times. But to have the confidence, you have to have scored a shed load of runs to get in that team. And he obviously had done that. So I think for him to go and do what he did at the SCG was phenomenal. Ashwin, riddled with injuries, couldn't, from what the stories are, he couldn't get up. His back was gone, and he still managed to drag himself up and save that test match. Rishabh Pant, somebody who he didn't even play the first test match. People thought he's gone. His keeping is a shambles. It's not a shambles, but there's many, many better keepers in India at the moment. Sanju Samson's a probably better keeper. Ishan Kishan's probably a better keeper. They're the first two that come to mind straight away. Rudiman Saha is way above the pecking order as a wicketkeeper. But as a batsman, the tenacity, the sheer, that never give up attitude. At no point, that SCG, he was like, we're going to go for the win. He got out playing a ridiculous shot. But it's like, you earned that, mate. You've earned that. You've got them into a position where they could potentially win the test match. So I think that, again, that was brilliant. Pujara, is when I go back to that point, is he got a lot of stick from the commentators, the Australian commentators, who for me were very, very biased throughout this series, and they were quite disrespectful at times. But they was like, oh, he's killing this Indian team. He's the reason why they're struggling. He's the reason why they're scoring so slowly. You look at it now, and everyone's full of praise. India know what he brings to the table, and they know how good he is. So people need to put some respect on his name. The fourth test, right, to win that is unheard of. To go to Gabba, where they're not lost a test match for 30 years. 30 years. They've lost their best player. Bumrah's not playing. Ashwin's not playing. Jadeja's not playing. KL Rahul's gone home. Bhuvneshwar Kumar didn't play. Shami's gone home. Umesh Yadav's gone home. Hardik Pandya's not even there. So these are all squad players that weren't even there. They've managed to have 3 debutants to come in and produce the goods and win that test match. But Pujara, people, I'm sick to death of these Australian. Everyone seems to think that test matches need to be played in 3 or 4 days. It's 5 days. Those bowlers that you're asking them to do a massive job. Australia now, it's to their detriment. They've got they're trying to score at run rates that like, oh, score quickly, keep rotating the strike. But the more shots you play, the more chance you got out. You've got 5 days. Pujara, he got battered on the last day, the fourth. Got absolutely battered, but still he got them in a position to win that Test match. Now Shubman Gill is a breath of fresh air. I've never seen somebody take the Test cricket like that in Australia like he did. Unbelievable. Find the series, hands down. Find the series. I think everyone that follows cricket and Indian cricket, like myself, would know we've got a player. We've known for a while we've got a player on our hands. He's produced at Under-19s World Cup. He's produced in first-class cricket, and he's produced at the IPL. IPL has made these players understand that they can deliver. Sundar, Washington Sundar was immense to come in on a Test debut to be the frontline spinner, hold up an end, take big wickets. First wicket, Stephen Smith. To then come in and score 50 with Shardul Thakur, who's pretty much a debutant as well. So I think India all round, there's nothing that you can say that is negative. The only slight downside for me was I was really excited to watch Navdeep Saini bowl. He let me down. I don't think he's ready for Test cricket, which is a shame. But he's come back then, lion heart, to come in and bowl when they needed to give some bowlers rest, when his groin was gone, and he still managed to run in and bowl. So that shows you that it's like, I'm not giving up. I'm here. I'm not giving up. I'm here for the cause. But I think, like I said, Pujara for me was just my man of the match, man of the series, whatever you want to call it, because I think people underestimate how important his job was. It allows Rishabh Pant to go and play freely. It allows Shubman Gill to play how he feels adequate and necessary, because you know that you've got Pujara down the other end who will die for the cause. Rahane, when he came out, when he got out in the 4th Test, I was fuming because I said, "What are you doing?" But it shows you that he's saying, "I'm leading from the front. This is the impetus that I want to give this run chase because I believe we can win." Now, India have achieved something that they've not done for a long time. The last time they won that series, Warner and Smith weren't playing. That tells you everything you need to know. Those two were playing. They were full strength. They had the best bowlers. They had the best batters that they had available to them, and India won. They've gone into their backyard. They've gone to the Gabba and won. You would never see something like this. I've never been so glued to a Test match that I can't miss a session. I was going to bed at wacky times, but I don't regret it because it was an unbelievable series. India, all the credit. That this will go down in history as one of the greatest Test win, bar none. And it was done without the main man, Virat Kohli. So absolute massive plaudits to Team India. They deserve it. And I thought it was something that had to be done, because I think no one appreciates these types of things until after. Moving forward into the next series, we're looking at some of these guys, Siraj, who's been absolutely phenomenal since he's coming in. He's held his spot down, but Natarajan is not playing. He's not even in the squad. So I don't know about what situation Saini's going to be in, but that team now all of a sudden is going to get decimated, and all the guys come back in. Virat Kohli straight in, and he captains. Personally, people might not like this, but I don't think Virat Kohli should captain that side. I think, yes, he's got he's got an amazing personality and he's got a big influence, but Rahane set fields that made Australia, they weren't able to breathe. They were like, right, okay, we can't score here. So that's the only reason that India were able to build pressure and then say, right, okay, now we can attack. We've bored one out, we've bored him out. This guy is not able to play spin, or he's not playing from around the wicket, or we're going to go seamers and we're going to clog the leg side and bowl straight. And then as soon as it started to swing, they're like, right, okay, well, we'll move him round a little bit so that flick not on anymore. Make him drive now, make him drive. Once it starts reversing, can he drive? Nick him off. Once he's nicked off, then all of a sudden, right, okay, build pressure, change that field completely. There's no need for that leg side, swamping the leg side. Bring him into cover, extra cover, gully, extra catcher. And I think, from a captain perspective, I thought he was very, very calm and collected. And he's the reason that India were able to restrict Australia throughout the Test series and fundamentally go and get the win. So I think Rahane was brilliant. His captaincy throughout the series was brilliant. His performances were very, very good. Pujara was top draw, and a huge, huge congratulations to Team India on that. I'd love to hear from the India fans out there as to what should be done now with the captaincy. Are you happy for it to go straight back to Kohli? Do you think that this is the reason why Rahane was able to deliver, was because Kohli has left his imprint on the team? Or do you believe that Rahane's captaincy was a lot more intelligent? He set right fields and that allowed India to win the series. And what happens to those players that did come in? Who stays? And who do you feel has been hard done by? So please let me know your thoughts. Drop your comments below, and I'm really looking forward to discuss this with people out there. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.